Hello everybody, I am back again with another video. Yeah! I just want to say real quick, if you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. And of course, if you want to help me out even further, give this video a cheeky little thumbs up. So, Jake Paul, either you like him or you don't like him. Jake has genuinely changed boxing in a pretty damn big way, whether you like it or not. Because essentially what Jake Paul has done is he's invented a new way in making boxing more entertaining than the normal traditional route. And what he's done is he's come up with this recipe to make boxing more enjoyable for people that aren't hardcore boxing fans. Your casual viewer can easily watch Jake Paul's fights. You know, people enjoy his stupidity on the fight build-ups.
It will actually be equal.
The way I see him, like he got a big booty. Like that's part of the reason I wanted to fight him. He's thick, like he's super thick. I wanted to grip them cheeks low key when I first saw them.
Oh, see.
So,
and then when it actually gets to the fight, most people watching it, they're not really criticizing Jake Paul on his boxing ability. They're mainly there just to watch him lose. Like, let's be real, that's why the majority of people watch Jake Paul's fights. However, as we all know, Jake always wins because essentially what he does is he picks his opponents where the odds are basically in Jake's favor. He's not going to pick someone who he thinks, right, I'm guaranteed to lose. He's not dumb. He's picking people who he thinks he will definitely beat. But Jake's next opponent, on paper at least, seems a little bit different. It seems like this isn't just your average Jake Paul fight. This seems like it could actually be a bit of a risk for Jake here. So the question I'm trying to answer in this video is, why the hell is Jake Paul fighting a real boxer, which is obviously Tommy Fury? Why is Jake fighting a real boxer now rather than just fight someone like another UFC star or like some American football guy? Why is Jake now fighting a real boxer? Well, in all honesty, if you think about it, it's just to keep people watching. So let's think about this logically. So if Jake Paul got in the ring with someone like Nick Diaz or Nate Diaz, are you really going to be that interested? Like, are you actually going to pay for that? And I bet most of you are thinking, no, I'm not going to pay for that. And the reason why is basically because that story of Jake Paul fighting a retired UFC athlete, that story is done. He's done that with Ben Askren and he's done that with Tyron Woodley. At the time, it was very interesting, and that is why people paid for it, because it was something completely new. And people were basically interested to see if these UFC guys have still got it. But obviously, you know, you can't just keep repeating that formula because people kind of lose interest. And the problem is if Jake keeps fighting all these retired UFC stars, the end result is it's going to become quite linear and it's going to kind of be repetitive like traditional boxing. And you got to remember, the only reason why Jake Paul does get the numbers that he does get is because the boxing stuff he does is so far away from traditional boxing. That is why there are more eyes on it. Obviously, there is a big audience for traditional boxing. But the thing is the stuff Jake Paul does, he brings in those traditional boxing fans along with all the casual fans. And that is why his numbers get so big. So if he keeps doing the same thing over and over again, the casual fans, they'll get bored of it and they won't really pay much attention, which is essentially why Jake Paul has to change his opponents and change his storyline, because repeating it over and over again, people are going to lose interest. And realistically, Jake Paul fighting Tommy Fury, that's almost the only option that he's got right now. Both of their records, their professional records, they both have 4 victories, 3 of them being knockouts and 0 losses. And to be honest, those records, we all know that, you know, I wouldn't say their records are impressive, but both of them haven't really fought people who you think, yes, you know, you can brag about that. Jake Paul with Tyron Woodley maybe, but you know, basically, in a nutshell, their professional records, although they're good, they haven't really fought anybody that's incredibly good. So therefore, fighting each other makes a lot of sense because they're essentially proving themselves to people that they can win a fight. You know, they don't have to keep fighting these journeymen. So this fight makes a lot of sense because they are very similar in a lot of ways. So obviously, their boxing records are very similar, or they're identical, but they've both received the same criticism for the opponents that they fought. Physically, they're very, very similar. They're both around the same height, weight, reach. You know, everything's pretty pretty damn similar. But the biggest difference between these two is people actually like Tommy Fury and they want him to win, but everybody else despises Jake Paul. So everybody at the moment loves Tyson Fury because obviously after Anthony Joshua lost to Usyk, you know, Tyson Fury, he's the champion at the moment and everyone's thinking, yeah, he's our boy of the UK right now. Anthony Joshua is not the boy anymore. It's Tyson. So you got to imagine when everyone is seeing John Fury, you know, Tyson Fury getting involved with this Jake Paul fight, it's creating a bit of hype, like a lot of hype, because obviously right now Tyson Fury is the boy. So when he's involved, the majority of the UK boxing fans are involved as well, which is why this fight is going to be massive. Because let's be real, all the boxing fans right now, they want their champion, their boy Tyson Fury. They want his little brother to beat the living piss out of Jake Paul, the guy that is ruining the sport. So you've got to think of it that way. You've got the king of boxing right now. His little brother is fighting the guy who seems like the villain to boxing, which is the perfect narrative, which is why so many people are interested in this fight. When Jake fought Tyron Woodley, the narrative was basically this. Jake Paul can beat a guy who can throw a really powerful punch and has a really solid chin. That's pretty much it. But if Jake Paul somehow manages to beat Tommy Fury, he's literally proving all of his haters wrong. Every single one of them. All of them saying that he can't fight a real boxer. He's putting his middle finger up to all of them and saying, sorry, you were saying? And not to mention one of the reasons as well why Jake is definitely fighting Tommy is because he's already got the one up on Tommy. Jake's sparring partner, someone who Jake trains with in boxing, has already fought Tommy. It was the guy who Tommy fought on his last fight. So that guy can immediately turn to Jake in the camp and say, right, these are his weaknesses, and then Jake is just going to capitalize on that. So Jake already has the upper hand. And then not to mention, because this is Jake Paul's fight, everything is on his terms. And in all honesty, I wouldn't be surprised if Jake beats Tommy, because he has got Tommy on the back foot on this one already, before the fight's even begun. And let's be real, one of the main reasons why Jake Paul is fighting Tommy Fury is because it does just shut up all of the haters, because he'll beat an actual boxer. Simple as that. But Tommy, why is Tommy taking this fight, you might be thinking? Because if you've kept up to date with this fight, you would probably know that Tommy is under a lot of pressure, to say the least. He is more than aware right now that the internet thinks that he sucks at boxing because he hasn't put up a lot of good performances, especially his last fight. So Tommy's there basically in a situation where he now has to prove to everyone on the internet that, you know, he is a good boxer. Tommy also claims that one day he wants to be a world champion in real boxing. However, he's only had his professional debut in America like this year, like his last fight. So then imagine if he did his debut and then he lost to Jake Paul. You know, if he wants to be a world champion one day, it's going to be very difficult when everyone knows that he lost to Jake Paul, because you know, all of the fighters are probably going to lose respect for Tommy Fury at that point, and getting an actual fight lined up that isn't just a journeyman fight will be very difficult, as obviously there's not going to be a massive amount of respect to him because he's just lost to Jake Paul, man. But that's not the biggest problem for Tommy. What is Tommy's last name? Fury. He's defending the honour of the name Fury, and that is the biggest fucking weight on his shoulders right now. To a gypsy, your family name is a big deal. It means something to you. Which is why both John and Tyson have said that basically, if Tommy loses this fight, that's it. He's leaving boxing. He's not allowed to do it anymore, because there is no way in hell that Tyson and John are going to let Tommy run around, ruin the Fury name, just so little Tommy can be happy living in this fantasy world of thinking he's going to be a professional boxer. If he loses to Jake Paul, that's it. They're pulling him out, which I completely understand. Thinking about that, imagine if your older brother was saying, oh yeah, if he loses this fight. It's not very encouraging words, is it? Let's be real. You'd expect him to say, no, he's going to win this fight. But he's saying if he, you know what I mean? It's just, then they don't seem that convinced, and neither does anybody else on the internet. So just straight away, Tommy is on the back foot. Tommy seems to be the one that needs to prove himself to everyone here. But, you know, win, lose, it doesn't matter. Because either way, Tommy's going to make millions from this. Like, he is going to make a lot of money, which could set him up for life, essentially, if he's good with his money. And no matter what, if Tommy beats Jake Paul, he will have so much respect from boxing fans, from everyone on the internet. All of those people that are against him right now, everyone will thank him. Say thank you, because you shut up Jake Paul. That is something nobody's been able to do, but you did it. And I'm telling you, that would be the best thing ever for Tommy Fury right now. But Jake is taking this fight for this simple reason. He doesn't think that Tommy Fury is as good as Tommy thinks he is. Jake doesn't think Tommy is very good. Jake then gets the status of saying, yes, I've just beat a Fury. Shut up if you want to say I'm bad at boxing. He gets bragging rights. He proves to everyone that he can fight professional boxers. And it just, overall, Jake beating Tommy would be very good on his CV. So realistically, whoever wins this fight, they win everything. And whoever loses this fight, they lose everything. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to let me know in the comments down below if you think there are any reasons why Jake Paul is taking this fight that I didn't know. If you think there are any other reasons why these two guys are fighting other than the money and the respect they'll get if they win. Or just DM me on Instagram if you really want to talk about it, because I'm very interested in this fight. I'm really curious to know what's going to happen. But again, I just want to say thank you to everyone for watching. It's been a pleasure. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace!